Rare look to Lukaku, Aguero to leave Manchester City, the Brazilian Yaya Toure could be up for sale, Everton want Koulibaly, and a transfer roundup all coming up on today's OneFootball Daily News. As I'm your host Angelina Kelly, let's get into it. First up, and reports state that Real Madrid could make a shock move in the summer for Inter Milan's Romelu Lukaku. That is if they do not get their other transfer targets. Now, of course, it is no secret that they have been interested in Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, but if they do want a cheaper option, Lukaku could be the answer to their problems. The player certainly had a successful career in the Premier League, although I guess his final stint with Manchester United was marred with a lot of doubt and criticism over his ability, but he has refound his form with the move to Italy. He has managed 42 goals in the Serie A in 62 appearances for Inter Milan, and he's been such a vital cog in the machine for Antonio Conte's side as they look to secure their first Serie A title since 2010 in the coming months. At 27 years of age, he could actually be a realistic option for Zinedine Zidane, who is looking, of course, for a long-term replacement for Karim Benzema. And even in the meantime, whilst Benzema is still playing, he could be an extra option for them on the pitch to help support Benzema and to provide the club with some much-needed goals. Of course, there are some other options for Real Madrid that are a little bit cheaper than Haaland or Mbappe, which I did a video on last week, and you can check out somewhere now above my head. Although Lukaku is under contract at the San Siro until 2024, if he does have aims and ambitions of making a move to La Liga, who's to say he wouldn't be interested? Although it does seem like Real Madrid will probably still try and go for Haaland or Mbappe first, of course, but Lukaku does have a lot of clubs interested in him. Alongside Real Madrid, there are also reports that Barcelona, Chelsea and PSG could all be interested in the player. And what this means is that Inter Milan are apparently panicking as they are reportedly rushing to try and get a new contract ready for Lukaku to sign. But what do you guys think? Could you see Romelu Lukaku playing for Real Madrid? Next up, and it is the news that we were all expecting to hear sometime soon, that Manchester City's Sergio Aguero will be departing from the club in the summer as his contract comes to an end. Reportedly, Pep Guardiola met with the player on Monday to say that the club would not be extending his contract, and you can kind of understand why. Aguero has been marred with so many illnesses and injuries this season, and he's actually only made 14 appearances for the club. I feel like this decision was definitely expected, especially with so many rumours around Aguero's future, and I'm sure that City fans will be absolutely devastated to see this legend leave the club, but I think they can agree that it's probably the right timing and they will be ready to bid a fond farewell to their player at the end of this season. The 32-year-old is inarguably one of the greatest strikers to grace English football, scoring 257 goals in 384 appearances across all competitions. He's won Premier League titles, FA Cups, League Cups, Community Shields, and with the club still set for their quadruple this season, who's to say that he couldn't be walking away from the Etihad with even more trophies under his belt? Of course, after the announcement was made last night, Sergio Aguero did release a statement with some really touching words towards Manchester City, and the club have announced that alongside David Silva and Vincent Kompany, a statue will be commissioned of Sergio Aguero to pay homage to the superstar player. But while City fans are taking all of this in and letting it all sink in, the rest of us fans, we are asking, where will he be playing his football next season? There are, of course, reports that he could be heading back to Argentina. If Lionel Messi stays at Barcelona, he could make the move there to link up with the player. There are also reports of Juventus, Real Madrid, apparently PSG, and now working overtime to try and get a contract to offer to Sergio Aguero to lure him to the club. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. One thing's for sure, that despite the number of injuries that the player has had, he's 32 years of age, he is still not short of options for his future. But regarding his time at the Premier League, it has come to an end and he will definitely be missed. Our next story is about Brazil's answer to Yaya Toure. Yes, it is 20-year-old Gabriel Menino, who reportedly could be set to depart from Palmeiras in the summer. Now, the player has certainly turned so many heads with his impressive performances, and quite a few European clubs are apparently interested. So, the midfielder, who can also play as a right back, reportedly has a big fan in Jose Mourinho and Spurs. Also Chelsea, Atletico Madrid and now Juventus have joined the race for the player. In the race for Menino, Spurs are allegedly ahead of Chelsea, but when you look at Spurs' central midfield, of course they have players like Ndombele. Then when you look at Chelsea, let's face it, they do have a lot of players already on their roster. Looking at Atletico Madrid, they of course have their captain Koke and their recent signing of Jeffrey Kondogbia in central midfield, but Juventus, they are reportedly looking to bring down the average age of their squad. and with rumours about Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey departing from the club, they could have space for the player. Menino would 100% provide a lot of energy and spark in midfield. Reportedly a European midfield after the summer, but which European midfield? I guess we will have to wait and see. Our final story takes us to Everton, who are on the hunt for some funds as they look to bring in a big money signing. Now, this big money signing is apparently an A-list central defender in Koulibaly. According to Football Insider, manager Carlo Ancelotti has made the Napoli defender his top target as he looks to recruit a world-class centre-back. In order to get the player, sources have allegedly stated that Everton are ready to listen to offers for Yerry Mina. Now, the Colombia international is set to fetch around £20 million. I think Koulibaly will be a little bit more than that, but of course every penny counts. Now, the reason that they're looking at potentially getting rid of Mina is that Ancelotti believes that whilst he does have great physicality, he is a little bit too error-prone, which is not what Everton need if they want to be a top team in the Premier League. And according to Football Insider, Ancelotti is a little bit unsure about all of his centre-back pairings, which is why we have seen him switch from a three-man defence to a back four so many times this season. Now, of course, Koulibaly's contract does not expire until 2023 with Napoli. He has been linked with so many transfer rumours over the last year, and with a market value according to Transfer Market of around €50 million, it is a lot of money for a player that is set to turn 30 this year and will have little sell-on value. But you cannot deny that he is still a top defender, and if Ancelotti is looking for a new defender, is Koulibaly the man for the job? Let us know in the comments section if you could see him making the move to Merseyside. And finally, we have our transfer roundup. This is where I take a look at some of the other news and transfers going on in the footballing world. And first up, Liverpool fans may be a little bit concerned as Mo Salah has recently been asked in an interview if he would like to play in Spain one day, and his answer was maybe yes. Meanwhile, Barcelona are confident that they could potentially re-sign Dani Olmo one day, who of course was with Barcelona in the youth team, but then has made the move to RB Leipzig and has really been impressing for the team and the Spanish national team. Manchester City, they are apparently not interested in signing David Alaba, despite the amount of transfer rumours linking the player to the club. But the player's agent has come out saying that it's definitely not just Real Madrid and Barcelona in the race for the player, but the Chelsea and PSG are also interested. And lastly, Inter Miami are set to go head-to-head with DC United to get Daniel Sturridge's signature. Yes, the former Liverpool player is an option for the clubs, who has of course been a free agent since March 2020. So that's everything for today's OneFootball Daily News. Check out all the other content that we've got here, and until next time, I will see you all later.